All right, Lions fans, welcome back. It is time for another episode of Lions Basement Banter. If you are coming from the last video where we recapped the Lions beating the Cardinals 20-13, welcome back. You know what's going on. We don't need to explain it to you. If you are clicking on this
And
video,
you're our favorites.
Okay. If you're clicking on this video and you don't really care about the Cardinals, you didn't watch that last video, we welcome you.
You're still our favorites.
We welcome you and hope you're having a great day, great weekend, getting ready for the Lions and their debut of their black jerseys.
Yes, sir.
We have a guest with us, and his name is Scary Sanders. We did introduce him in the last video, so if you want to learn more about him, why don't you go back and watch that video? Because I'm not going to do it again. Sorry about it.
There's a possibility he might be a mainstay. We'll say. I mean, his takes have been really good. You should look back at the last video. His takes were amazing.
And he's got a killer Halloween costume planned too. So
it's scarier than you might think.
Yeah, stay with us. He does have an MCDC chain around his neck, and Zach, this is a giveaway we're running for our YouTube channel, trying to get to 200 subs.
Yes,
if we get there, if we get there, that chain will be handed out to a lucky fan. You want to give a little, just a brief? I mean, you don't need to go too much because they can watch the last video.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a 3D printed MCDC. Like I said on the last video, I will post where you can get them on our X, so you better follow there. But I'm not going to put it in the description here. It's in the description of our last video, so go back there, check that out. And then we will definitely get this out when we hit 200 subs. So make sure you subscribe here on YouTube, like this video, and make sure you check out the rest of our videos. So we're going to get into the Seahawks and Lions game. That'll be a Monday night showdown. First, I want to give a little shout out to our sponsors. The show is brought to you guys by Empire Contractors out of Shelby, Michigan. Empire Contractors is a full-service roofing company that specializes in liquid applied roof restoration. If you or someone you know needs a commercial roof, check them out at roofsbyempire.com or on Facebook. Make sure you tell them Lions Banter and Scary Sanders sent you. Oh my gosh, he's got our last name, dude.
And Zach just
brother number 5.
Zach just doxed us right there. So everybody's gonna be able to look up our address now. No.
Yeah, I'll cut that.
No. So we are moving on.
Hey, hold on. People already know our address.
They do?
Yeah. I got a certificate in the mail.
Oh my God.
I'm a certified clown based on the certificate I got in the mail.
I'm really wondering if that's somebody that hated our takes so much.
Oh, man, dude, I'm sure it is. I think it's probably a Bears or a Cowboys fan based on the way I go with them. But
good thing was that it didn't get addressed to me, so I'm still killing it.
Oh, no, it literally has my name on it. Yeah. It's going in a frame. It's going to be hanging up behind us pretty soon. So.
So we're moving in. We've got a Monday night matchup, the first primetime game for
at
the
Ford
Lions,
Field, baby.
This year. They are hosting the Seahawks, and we all know what the history is with the Lions and the Seahawks, so we'll get into that in a second. But they are hosting the Seahawks. They are, to this point, 3-0, one of the only undefeated teams left in the league right now.
That will change.
Yeah. So, I don't know. How do you want to work this? What do you want to jump into first?
I think, honestly, if you want to talk about some keys, what you think keys to victory are, I think old Scary over here is going to lose his hat. But what I want to say is Mike McDonald is absolutely dealing over there as a head coach, first-time head coach.
Old McDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I, no.
But no, he's doing really well over there, and it's kind of surprising because I don't think anyone saw the Seahawks being as good as they were. This was supposed to be kind of a step back year for them.
Yeah, especially losing Pete Carroll, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if this isn't another Giant situation where they have that one really good year, and then next year you're going to see the regression.
Yeah, it's probably just I think basically what you're saying, I'm agreeing with you, I think, is that there's still some residual from Pete Carroll. Once that kind of goes, it might be a little different. Yeah, that might happen.
So,
let's hope it starts week 4 of this season.
Yeah, we're gonna we all know. I'll say it again. We all know the kind of the history with the Seahawks. They've had our number for the past few years. We have a lot of bad history with them. There was a game that they played against them where one of their linebackers punched a ball out of the back of the end zone. Should have been a penalty. Didn't get called. We
Another one
ended
of
up
those
losing the
Lions plays.
game. That was back when Calvin Johnson was there. He was the one that actually fumbled the ball. Cam Chancellor punched it out.
Yep.
In more recent years, I was at Ford Field last year when we watched them drop an overtime game
Absolute gut punch
to the Seahawks. That was rough. We had that game in hand, and then we just kind of came out in the second half and were sloppy. We had turnovers.
That was bad.
And we ended up losing that game.
We were lucky to take that into overtime, to be honest with you. I mean, really.
So we've got a lot of history. The main thing that we need to talk about there is just that we seem to have this thing with the Seahawks where we cannot beat them.
Yeah, I mean they've and it's always a high scoring shootout. It feels like. I mean they've dropped 51 on us. I think last time what was it 36-30 or 31-37 or something. It's just always an absolute barn burner of a shootout. So hopefully our defense is going to do something this time.
Yeah. So I just want to start. I think I'm going to start out with my offense, talking about that. I think there's going to be the two biggest keys for me this week are how does the offensive line mash up? How does that work? Because we know Ragnow's out, which most likely means Glasgow will move from his left guard spot to the center spot and take that over. Who steps in at left guard? Probably my best guess would be the Coyote, whatever it is. Awosika will be that guy. He's always kind of been that guy that steps in at that guard position. There may be an instance where Dan Skipper ends up in there. I don't know. I don't think Campbell really addressed that yet either.
I feel like there's going to be a little bit of game time decision, and there might be some in-game adjustments based on that situation and how that goes. One good thing, real quick, I will say that they did say that Christian Mahogany is close. Not that he's going to be a star, but they said he's close.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to highlight as well, because if Ragnow's out for an extended period of time, I'm assuming that we would probably get Mahogany back after the bye. We have a bye next week, so the 2 weeks to get him going, get the clock started on him, and get him reps enough in practice to be ready to have to rotate with Awosika if that's the route they decide to go. I don't know. That's the biggest thing for me, because the good thing we can say is the offensive line shouldn't be tested as much as it would have been in usual contests with the Seahawks, because the Seahawks are absolutely decimated with injury on that defensive front right now.
Yeah.
They released their practice report, or their game report today, and they are going to be without
all of them.
Starting edge Boye Mafe, he's out with a knee. Defensive tackle Byron Murphy, who they took in the first round this year, is out with a hamstring. Defensive end Leonard Williams, who's one of their biggest players on that defensive front, out with ribs. And linebacker edge Uchenna Nwosu is out with a knee. I know he's been kind of out for a few weeks now, I think, is what I've been seeing from Seahawks fans. And they also have questionable linebacker Jerome Baker with a hamstring. So essentially the entire starting defensive line is going to be missing for the Seahawks.
Yes. I think we were just talking about this kind of at the top of the show, or earlier. I was kind of saying some of the secondary would be nice. If obviously we're not cheering for injury, nobody does. But I'm just saying, there's a couple other guys that's like, man, these guys are stars. But, if we're looking at people that are injured on our team and we're going against people that are injured on theirs, it's nice that they kind of mesh, like you kind of said. So, I mean, you don't want that at all, but if that's the case, then it's good that it's not necessarily a neutralizer for either side.
Yeah. I think that just sets it up for another, building off last week, another big running game. I think we are going to slam the ball down the Seahawks' throats early and often.
Yep. Oh, Mr. Monty and his angry runs, I think he's going to get the opportunity for some. Hopefully they're not those angry runs running home from overtime game.
Yep.
Is all.
Yeah. So. He's been absolutely outstanding this year, Monty has, and Gibbs has been working in well as well.
Expectedly so on all of it.
Yeah. So that's my biggest key for offense. I think one other thing that I need to note is Jared Goff just needs to be smart with the football. Do not try to do too much. make the plays that are there, and allow the run game to carry you. And when you need to throw it for first downs, just understand not you don't need to make a bigger play than what's there. You throw it to someone who's open, let them try to get the first down. If they can't, then we have Jack Fox, who's one of the best punters in the league, who will flip the field and let our defense go to work. So I don't think just simplify it. We don't need to get too crazy.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, you might sprinkle in one of those, the shake and bake plays that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
saw
no,
last
that's
week. You
fine.
might sprinkle one of those in. Couple things. I guess if I'm giving my offensive key, I agree with you. The run game is a big one. I'm gonna say that on every single week though, because I'm a big you know, I'm a fan of the ground and pound football. I
Yeah,
just think that's good. I think that's Lions football. I'm also a Michigan fan, and that's literally how we
they can't do anything
beat
else.
Minnesota by 3. Anyways, moving on from depression. Uh, I think the other one that I will have is if you kind of look at some of the defenses because of the way JMO's coming on and the speed that we've got back there, you see a lot of deep three, some deep four sets where the ball's snapped and there's guys going 20 yards downfield, literally just staying back waiting for JMO to take the top off there. I think one of the big keys, and it could be again another key going forward, not just this game, but especially this game with some of the secondary they have, and the linebacker play being somewhat decimated there in Seattle. I think our tight ends. I think obviously, Laporta's a little injured. Hopefully he's going to be at least 85%,
I
80,
think he's going to be
85%.
fine. We heard Dan Campbell talk this week that he looked
Basically
really good in
100%. Yeah,
practice.
yeah. So I think those tight ends are going to be very important. I also think that our and again say this tongue in cheek, I think our slant merchant is going to have an opportunity for a really big game too if we can get those guys and take the top off, get some slants, get
Let's
some
get
crossing
JMO
routes.
going again. He had a quiet week last week.
It
Let's get him going again.
we might be able to. I don't know. This might not be the game for it, but we'll see. It actually could be. After the bye, if Duron Bland is still out, we might actually see some stuff from JMO. So
Well, I think Devin Witherspoon is going to play primarily on Amon Ra because I
I think
think
he's
he's
gonna
more of
have
a
to.
nickel
Yeah,
corner.
I think he's gonna have to. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. What do you
So
got next?
so I think one thing that I want to note along with that with the wide receivers
Mm-hmm.
we need to talk about is Tim Patrick's obviously on the active roster. We have now
Yes.
given one of the roster spots that we lost with some of these injuries uh, to Allen Robinson. He's been pulled up to the active roster officially, not even like a game day pull up. He's just been put to the active roster. So there's some firepower. We might see Allen Robinson get more involved this week.
Let me pose a question to you about that. I actually, when you mentioned that we were going to talk about that a little bit, I wanted to. I got excited because I want to ask you this question. Do you think that Isaiah Williams? Do you think that his injury is worse than what they're making it sound like, and that's why we're bringing up 2 wide receivers?
I don't know.
Or
I
was
don't
this
know
the
if I'm ready to say
or
that.
was this the plan all along when we put them on the practice squad? Tim Patrick, I knew that was, but Allen Robinson, I
I
wasn't so
don't think
sure.
I don't think the plan with Isaiah Williams was ever to use him very much offensively. I think he's going to be a special teams guy
Okay.
for them. So no, it doesn't surprise me. I think they've got a certain type of wide receiver they're looking for, and that's
Yeah.
the big-bodied guy. So they're
Yeah.
bringing in two of them, and they're going to see who shows out, I guess.
The one thing I just while we're talking wide receivers, and obviously we'll get off this in a second here, but the one thing I know Leaf hasn't like in past he's got plays that are super important for him. I know that. I thought I honestly expected to see a bigger role out of him this year, and I just haven't seen it so far.
It's coming. He doesn't always. He's not going to show up every week. That's not the kind of player they use him as. But
It's not what we expect.
he'll have
but
flash plays every once in a while, which
yeah,
is fine.
and he
That's all we
has,
need.
and he
Yeah.
has, yeah. Okay, all right. Moving on.
I did note it. Sorry, note this. Sione Vaki did play last week. You weren't here when he was in, but they put him in for a snap. I remember seeing him in the backfield. I got really excited that they were going to do something, and then they didn't really use him. They just ran the ball.
I'll be completely honest with you. I knew that because when my wife came home from work, I think it was, I went upstairs to say hi or whatever, and all I heard down here was Sione, yes. And then there was nothing.
I don't think I said that.
Yes, you did. I heard it. Or you said Vaki, I think.
I probably said back. I did not say Sione.
Oh, my boy, sing to me.
Okay. Anyway, talking about the Seahawks offensively.
You better watch out. Scary has ears. He can hear this kind of stuff now. He's going to start vouching.
The Seahawks score 24.3 points per game, so they're, that's a feasible thing. You'd like to see them maybe a touchdown less than that if you're going to win this game. That's the scariest part for me is their offense.
Gino is dealing.
Gino's been playing pretty well.
Yep.
And he's been hooking up. Smith and Jigba's having a nice year. DK's been he's the thing with DK is he's either having a good game or a bad game. And last week he caught a 60, 70-yard touchdown bomb. So he's been doing pretty well.
I think that's kind of what Dan Campbell. I think he said this at the beginning of the week in one of his pressers. Was they kind of asked him like what is so good about the Seattle offense that they're 3-0 and they're doing, and that's kind of what he said was, they don't do these crazy like explosive plays all the time. But what they do is they dink and dunk out down the field, and they lull you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, boom, big old confusion play, and it's absolutely taking the top off.
One thing to note about them is they are getting back Kenneth Walker this week. Charbonnet took the bulk of the load and played pretty well last week, but it's going to be Kenneth Walker. Be honest with you, I've heard a lot of people concerned about it. I'm not concerned, considering the fact that we never give up big plays to running backs.
Yeah, and those are. I mean, someone's gonna pop one eventually. It's just how it's gonna be. But I think our defensive line is made to handle the run.
We have not allowed a 100-yard rusher yet this season. So.
Or last season, I don't think either. I think it was 22 was the last time.
I won't expect the running game to beat us. What's going to be we've got to be able to stop the splash plays through the air.
Yep.
And we've got to be able to locate Tyler Lockett because he has the ability to just kind of flash open in the middle
Flying
of the field.
Under the radar right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say about their offense. Their defense has been one more thing for their offense. Geno Smith has been dealing, like you said. The one thing I don't want us to overlook is I talked about this. We didn't have a podcast at this point, but last year we talked about how we should be able to win that game because we didn't have to deal with the mobile quarterback. Guess what? Geno Smith was mobile against us, and we did not account for it. That man is geriatric by all means, but he can still run the football.
I shouldn't have said he up there. I thought you were going. I thought you were gonna.
He's in an old folks home. No. He is an old man by NFL standards, but he can still run the ball effectively. So we still need to game plan for that. Keep an eye on him.
Aiden Hutchinson. What all you need to do is make sure that in your back pocket of your football pants, I know you don't have pockets, but make sure that you have a pad and a piece of paper, or a pen and a piece of paper, and you make sure that you write an entire letter.
Oh my God.
And then you sack him, and then you make him write back. Damn it. He ain't right back, though, but you're going to make him right back. This week.
I don't even want to acknowledge that. I'm not going to acknowledge that you just said that.
Oh, man. All right, what's up?
So, defensively, they win. They've won a lot of games because their defense plays really well and holds the other team to not very many points. Their average opponent score has been just around 2 touchdowns. People aren't scoring very much on them.
Yep.
So we are going to have to have a sharp day offensively, which I'm not scared about given what we did last week and some of the plays we were able to make.
They've also played backup quarterbacks basically all the way through.
One thing I think you noted is that they do still have a backup playing on their offensive line at right tackle. So Aiden Hutchinson, it's time to feast again.
4th week in a row.
He is continuing to get favorable matchups, and I wouldn't be surprised if he can get another two sacks this week. He should be able to hold that sack lead until after the bye.
Yeah, I would think so. He's got 1.5 right now. He's got 1.5 lead. Yeah, I agree with that. Unless you have somebody do a Khalil Mack or an Aiden Hutchinson go off and all of a sudden.
It's good to have a lead like he has in a category like that with your bye week coming because you're gonna, of course he's not gonna record any stats next week, and some people are gonna start stepping up closer to him. But then he's gonna come back, and then those guys have a bye coming up, so it's gonna equal out if he can continue the production he has.
Yeah, and not that individual stats and awards are the most important thing, but the nice thing with an early buy like this is you have the opportunity now um, to show out from week 6 on, and there isn't that week where week 8, week 9, whatever it is, where you're kind of forgotten because someone else has a crazy game. I mean, the ball's in your court. So like you said, I mean, if you can get a couple, 1.5 even, and then show out the rest of the season, he won't be forgotten. That's for sure.
Yep.
So
So starting keys on our defense, I think we'll stay
there's one.
we'll stay talking about the defensive line. Is yes Hutchinson, but who's going to play across from Hutchinson? Davenport's out for the year. We know that now. Is it going to be? Dan Campbell uh, has talked a bunch about Josh Pascal, and
Hmm.
he's expecting him to step up not only with Davenport out, but with Barnes out as well. He's expecting him to have a bigger role. So that's one guy, but then you've got to talk about, is Levi going to get more opportunities to run the edge? We know that he had been doing that during training camp and looked good doing so. James Houston is still on the active roster. I know he has not been anything to really write home to mom about this season. He just doesn't do much. But
Sure makes you wish that the James Houston at linebacker experiment would have worked out.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really
But
does right now.
but with Davenport out, he may get more chances.
Truth.
We'll see. I'm
Yep.
not gonna.
Some pass
Right
rush.
now,
Yep.
he's not anything great, and I'm not gonna say anything more than that.
But he could come and show out, and we're gonna give him that benefit of the doubt. We'll see.
Yeah, so I think that's just the key for me there, but also for the entire defense is who's going to step up.
Yeah.
So you've got that edge rusher spot. Now you've got a linebacker spot that's vacant. So Anzalone's coming back this week off the concussion that he
Thank
missed
God.
last week. So that's a big get back. But we did lose Derek Barnes for the year. So now it's who's going to step up next to Anzalone. Campbell is going to get a lot of those snaps. He's going to have to finally grow into the shoes that he was drafted to be. He's going to have to play well, and if he's not, then a guy like Malcolm Rodriguez is going to get a lot of chances.
Well,
and,
and I think he will
Ben
anyway.
Neiman too.
Yeah, I think Malcolm will anyway. I think he got a lot of. I mean, I know obviously it's kind of thrown into the fire last week because of the Barnes injury, but you saw a whole lot of Malcolm Rodriguez because of that. But I really like what you're saying about Jack. You know, this right here is what makes decent players good and good players great is when you get this opportunity, to get basically
Next man up.
trial by fire right here. It's time. It's time.
And it's not
Now,
like realistically, it's not like he's getting thrown into the fire. He's been
no,
playing
he's been a
hefty
starter.
snaps.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
he's been starting
Yeah.
really.
Barnes plays more of a role of, yes, he gets some of those snaps at Mike linebacker, but he plays a lot of rushing off the edge too.
Yes, yep. And Jack, I know Jack's been back in coverage quite a bit,
And Jack is capable of rushing the passer as
and
well.
that's where we're hoping to see. I think we're hoping to see that increase is he's got a high IQ, he's got a good motor, he's got all the athletics. Let's just put them all together and make it happen now.
Mhm.
It's time to make it happen.
All right. So secondary wise, one thing we do need to note: the injury report did come out this week. There were only 2 guys on that list, which is phenomenal considering what we had happen to us against the Arizona Cardinals.
2, but we played a little bit of a sneaky thing here
Yeah,
too.
so Iffy would be on that list, except for the fact that they did move Iffy to IR, so he is going to miss 4 weeks.
And then told nobody.
Lions fans might have missed that because it was an under the radar move,
Mhm.
but he's gone, frees up another roster spot for us, which I'm assuming will be filled by the offensive lineman, whoever we're going to bring up.
Mhm.
Yeah. All that tells me is hopefully Brian Branch is 100%. I'm sure he is. I'm not worried about that. If something happens where one of those guys goes down, Brandon Joseph is now that guy for the next 5 weeks or so. So just watch him. I think he's more than capable of taking over a spot if he needs to. But he could get in and play a little bit. Ennis Rakestraw was the guy other than Ragnow that was on the injury list, and he's listed as questionable, so he could still go this week.
He'll probably see some special teams this week.
We'll see if he goes.
That's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
not going to be like full blown.
And I don't
there.
even know if I don't know. Honestly, if he's a go, he might be a healthy scratch.
Yeah, with the bye coming up, I mean,
Yeah.
why not? I guess you see what happens, but Brandon Joseph, I just want to say, has star potential. I mean, we saw him, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he will for sure get there, but that dude's got whatever that it factor is.
He
You
was
can
good
see
at it.
it.
He was really good at Notre Dame. I was
Yes.
surprised he didn't get drafted.
He's got an it factor. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
throw that out there.
So I don't know. I think what I'm expecting on defense is these are my predictions. I'm just gonna throw these out there. I think 2 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson and a combined 2 sacks from somewhere else on the
Ooh.
offensive line.
Hoping for it, but ooh,
That's what I like. I think
it'd be nice.
I don't think it's that hard of a reach with that if they've got a bad embattled offensive line on one side.
With Aleem for sure being healthy, the only thing that makes you unsure. I'm so torn here because it makes me unsure because we lost Davenport. Not saying that he was playing good ball, but the edge not having that spot. But then you look back in week 2 when we had 5.5 sacks by one guy. Where was Davenport? Well, he was injured. He wasn't even in
And
the game.
Levi
so,
was the one that was pressuring with him,
right. So it's like Davenport was playing good ball, but like was the team
Yeah.
maybe better without him on that edge? I don't know. I don't know.
So what's the over under on Kirby Joseph with another pick or somebody in who you think somebody else in the secondary gets one? Branch had one.
I think it's time for a cornerback to get one. I want to see Carlton Davis get his first for the Lions. I want to see that happen. Obviously, I want Kirby to do it because I want him to win that. I want him to lead the league, but it'd be cool to see Carlton get his first one for the Lions.
Okay. Any predictions offensively you want to give out?
Are we gonna predict the score?
We'll do that at the end.
Okay, so you're talking stats.
Just offense stats.
I think Goff's gonna throw. I think he'll throw one pick. I think he's gonna throw for 3 touchdown passes this game though. Because we're gonna have to just kind of preface, or I guess foreshadow. But I think uh I, I think the run game is gonna be good. I think we're seeing 120 yards out of Monty this week. So
I think we crack 200 combined rushing yards.
That's for sure doable.
And I think three rushing touchdowns because I really don't think we're going to need to use the passing game that much. I think Jared Goff's going to be sparingly. I think Jared Goff hovers right around 200 yards passing, maybe a touchdown pass.
We're disagreeing there.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to throw the ball much at all.
I've got one rushing touchdown. Monty gets that rushing touchdown.
Okay. Final score predictions. What do you got?
While I think about that, one thing I want to throw out there, we didn't say anything about Sorsdahl, I don't think. Do you not see him coming up at all? Like
Oh yeah, he's still that's
do you see us
he
using
could
him?
he plays better at guard than he does at tackle, and we saw that. So it's a possibility. But
Okay.
I
Just curious on if that's a
I don't know.
possibility happening. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, we've got one day left. To
I'm
see
really
happen,
hoping Mahogany comes along with Ragnow out because I would really like to see him in that spot.
It would be nice to Ragnow. I hope that he stays with us as long as he possibly can, and then retires a Lion. But it would be nice to see a successor, kind of like the Eagles did, I guess, with Kelsey. So
What, with Mahogany?
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Yeah, but they talked about him going to center though. I believe they talked about
I don't
that.
think that's going to happen. I think if anything, he would take over the guard spot, and Glasgow would become the
That could
center.
be too. That could be too.
Glasgow's a natural center.
I don't know that we keep Glasgow that long, but maybe. I don't know.
He's under a 3-year contract, isn't he? He just signed an extension. We had to.
I thought it was 2. I thought it was only 2 years.
It was something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. We had to sign him though, so he's got multi-year deal still. So
Okay. Prediction. I will say I think we do it. We've stolen the 12th man from the Seahawks. Our Ford Field is an absolute slaughter fest as far as the crowd goes. I love it. I'm going to say it's still going to be a shootout though. I'm saying 35-31.
Seahawks are asking for an absolute. Their social media pages. 1 second. Have been absolutely out of pocket this week, and they're asking for the Matthew Stafford treatment.
Oh my God, I saw that. What?
If you guys know, the Rams social media page before the playoff game last year posted a picture of Ford Field and put the word or the letters STAF before Ford, so it read Stafford Field.
And then
they
lost twice.
lost. And then they lost again this year. the Seahawks took it upon themselves to post a picture of the outside of Ford Field, and they doctored it up, put a 12th man flag up at the top, and they put a bunch of Seahawks fans outside of it.
You won't be able to see it.
Yeah. So, and it's got, instead of the usual where you've got
All the players.
where you've got all the players of the Lions up on the banner outside Ford Field on the outside, it's Tyler Lockett.
You guys are asking for it.
Yeah. How dumb can you be? They also posted a video that said, "Here's our top 5 plays at Ford Field," just rubbing salt in the wound.
You know, I saw Brad Holmes Bulge retweet that and say, "I hope this thing is playing at Allen Park on repeat this entire week," and I agree. I mean, I hope. I'm not saying maybe not that far, but I hope Dan Campbell pulled that up in the meeting room and said, "Look at this shit." So basically,
what was your final score prediction again?
35-31 Lions.
All right, I think I'm gonna go 31 Lions, 21 Seahawks.
Ooh, man. Okay, so you got us like we're covering the spread. And well, I think we would with mine anyway. I can't remember what it's at. It was like
my
2.5.
4.5.
Oh, 4.5. Okay. So we wouldn't. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think either way they win.
I don't know. Have you been keeping track of our predictions the past few weeks and how they've turned out?
No, because I think after week 2 I was too depressed based on mine. So
well,
I'll go back.
We're gonna take a look back at those. And,
I'll go back
and maybe we'll pull up like a ticker on who's got the most accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to start this week by doing like who you think player of the game will be, and then we'll see who was closer?
Sure. I'll say David Montgomery.
Well, that's bullshit.
You can pick the same player.
Yeah, I'm gonna say David Montgomery as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't have to do that. We can just say.
No, you're good. I agree. I think David Montgomery will be that guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think
we got one more thing.
Oh.
Outside of the Lions, but still in Detroit, just across the street.
Oh, I was gonna start the show with that, and I completely forgot. I don't know how I did.
So listen, hold on. You've got the black jersey, right? You got the black jersey. I don't own a black jersey yet, so I got myself a black baseball jersey, and there's a dang good reason for it.
Detroit playoff baseball is back, and not in Detroit. It won't be.
Tigers in October, baby.
The Tigers are on track to take on the Houston Astros in the playoffs. They have clinched a playoff spot officially. So
how's that for a story with Verlander over there in Houston?
The hottest team in baseball went from a 0.2% chance in August to make the playoffs to 99% chance of making it just a day ago, and now
100%.
They're in. Yep. They're in. And
that's pretty awesome.
How much sweeter is it that we essentially have knocked the Twins out of the playoffs?
Oh man, it's great. And honestly, it's going to be the Twins or the Royals, which is great because either one of those they're fighting right now for.
It was sweet for multiple reasons because we knocked the Twins out.
Yep.
And we just handed the Chicago White Sox their record-setting loss. Mark for a single season. So that's crazy.
And we have the Cy Young, the AL Cy Young. I can't believe it not going to someone other than Scooble. So that'll happen.
Even crazier. Look at how young this team is.
Okay.
We are.
What? The only thing I'll say is, and it wasn't you. I'm calling out myself, and I'm calling out a lot of other Tigers fans that it seems like nobody's really saying it because we're all in the moment and we're excited. But man, we had written them off. Man, there were a lot of people saying some really bad things about the Tigers, and I was in spots. I was one of them.
I was definitely one of them. The Tigers sucked ass.
Yeah, and honestly, like when they traded Flaherty, I was like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. But you didn't trade Scooble, and I take credit for that because I said we shouldn't.
Like a genius right now.
Well, I took credit for that. I said don't trade Scooble, and they listened to me. So I'm glad that happened. I got the Tigers into the playoffs, and you guys are all welcome.
So there's only one thing left to do after this season, and we'll see how far they go. Obviously, making the playoffs is all we could have asked for. We'll see how far they end up going. I'd love to see a deep run, but whatever.
Scary.
Scooble is about to get his money, and
oh, dude, that's got to happen. Yeah, that's got to happen.
And that's going to be great. He's going to probably, in my opinion, if he doesn't win it, it's a robbery. Cy Young should be all his.
Has to. It has to. It should be a runaway.
And then he's going to get a massive contract.
It should be a runaway.
Because honestly, who else are the Tigers paying right now? We got Miggy's gone now, so we're not paying that anymore.
Hobby.
Yeah, but whatever.
Gross.
Man.
Yeah. Scary, did you remember to bring the champagne? Oh, nope, he forgot it. So I guess we're not going to be able to throw champagne all over the place here. But we were definitely going to do it, but he forgot.
This guy never remembers anything.
Dude. You trick.
Man,
his head's stuck.
You did a great job. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, no, you're not. Oh my gosh, if his head would have fallen off right there, I'd have lost my mind.
Look, he's got a little hair.
Yeah, he's been growing that for years. Been crazy, so.
I'm surprised. Now I'm really ashamed that I couldn't punch that up. That looks really bad on my end.
Well, you did it the first. You did it before, so we're good.
Oh, sorry, my man. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Yeah, well, it's Scary.
I wasn't apologizing to you. I was apologizing to Scary, not you. I don't care about you.
Hey, I brought him. I had to fold him up into the shopping cart and look like a weirdo carrying him around with all the groceries for the kids. I had stinking dino nuggets and a skeleton in my cart. So.
All right. So we've got our score predictions. We got our stat predictions. I think we are ready to sign off. It's gonna be great.
2 for this week. Yeah. It's
gonna be great. Hopefully, if you're at Ford Field, get loud and help them come out and defeat the Seahawks.
Yes, sir.
They mocked us last year with the
get that
ski
light
masks.
show going. Scary, make eye contact with the camera. Come
on. Without further ado, we have just one thing left to say to you, and that is, go Lions.
Go Gritty Tigers, baby.